So when is Top Gun 3 coming out? Here are my immediate thoughts on Fighter. Fighter is a Hindi language action film directed by Siddharth Anand and is released to coincide with India's Republic Day. This aerial action film is the first ever on-screen pairing of Indian megastars Hrithik, Roshan, and Deepika Padukone. The film follows a group of Indian fighter pilots who must face personal struggles along with a terrorist threat. Yeah, so I've mentioned that ever since I discovered Satyajit Ray, I have just loved Hindi language films, and especially, over the last decade or so, Hindi language action movies. So a film that's directed by the guy who did War and Panthan, I was just all for it. So part of this film is based off of a real incident, the Pulwama attack of 2019, when a convoy of Indian police officers were killed in a suicide bombing. And you can feel that this was a movie that was created and meant to glorify India as a nation. Now, I am not going to get into the politics of this movie. I am a film critic, not a political analyst. Yeah, so out of the way, this movie is going to get compared to Top Gun, especially Top Gun Maverick, with all the dogfight scenes and the aerial choreography, and it does take a lot from Top Gun in regards to the camaraderie of all the pilots and how they treat each other like family, and in that sense, Fighter is very predictable. Hrithik, and I think we should call him Hrithik as in Swole, Roshan plays Paddy, one of the pilots. He's the really cocky one. And he's okay in the role. He plays someone who's a little bit damaged. His fiance died. And then, as a filmmaker, does his thing where he has his male characters go through tragedies where, their wives or their girlfriends die, and that kind of propels them forward. And Paddy, as a character, goes through that as well. And he plays as a pretty straightforward action hero. The melodrama is there, and that kind of tracks with, the Hindi action films as well. And he has a love affair with the other pilot, Deepika Padukone, and the chemistry is okay, and she's okay as well. And, I kind of wish that she was played off as more than just the love interest. I was kind of expecting her to be kind of more of the badass pilot. They kind of give her a little bit of that, but really she's more of a love interest fodder. Anil Kapoor is Rocky. He's kind of the leader of the squadron. He's great, but he is honestly awesome in anything he's in, whether it's something that's Hindi language or something that's English language like Slumdog Millionaire. So I really enjoyed seeing him in the movie. The direction for this movie is okay. There's a bit of tonal whiplash. So there are scenes where there are these rousing, super patriotic speeches that would make Bill Pullman blush. And then we get the love story between Paddy and Minnie that just seems like it was ripped from another movie altogether. And it sometimes just feels like that there were just like 10 different writers on this script. The film does try too hard, I think, at times to look a little too glossy and too polished, which kind of makes it look like an amateurish, almost student-like movie. And I kind of don't want to say that, but that's kind of the impression I really got. And, the editing and the pacing of the film doesn't help either. This movie is like at 2.5 hours, and you really do feel the pacing at times. That second act really does drag, and it does get a little repetitive. We see the fighter pilots playing around and joking with each other, and then a terrorist attack happens, and then they fight the terrorists, and then they get back to partying, and then the terrorist attack, and then they have to fight that threat again. So it gets a little repetitive at times, so it's not the most rewarding experience in that respect. Also, for like Hindi or Bollywood type fare, it is expected that there's going to be musical interludes, and they exist in Fighter here, but honestly, they are kind of choppily edited. For example, there's a flight scene that turns into this kind of daydream moment, and that daydream scene really only exists so a musical interlude can be inserted, and it just feels really out of place. The CGI for some of the aerial scenes are really good, but there are some other shots that honestly looks like it's come straight out of After Effects, and if I, who is not a professional editor, can see that, that is not a good thing. And also, there are some really major jarring moments of product placement. And I guess, doesn't matter what movie you're making around the world, advertisers gotta ad. Overall, Fighter was a disappointment. I was hoping for something high octane and over the top, but what I got really was a derivative Top Gun wannabe film wrapped in an Indian flag. That might have worked better if Anand made his own version of Independence Day and the bad guys were aliens. But here, Fighter just feels like a Hindi asylum take on Top Gun that I would find in the $5 bin at Walmart. Yeah, this is a flop. I really wanted to like this movie, but yeah, not all foreign movies that I see are going to be a classic. Oh well, we are still in January. But those are my immediate thoughts on Fighter. What did you guys think of the film? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.